Hey there, Tubanites, at your friendly neighborhood flash in the pan. Today we are going to merge two of our interests with can't talk. One of which firearms, and the other is making things with our hands. So, as I've talked about with everybody's favorite 1858 Remington New Army, or what was the other name for it? Doesn't matter. Anyways, the Buffalo model. But what's cool about these is how quick and easy you can swap the cylinders in and out. Right? So as I said in the first video where I first brought this out, what people would do back in the day is they'd have little pouches on their belt that they would just swap out the cylinder. So today we are going to try and make at least one, probably just make one and then I'll make duplicates afterwards. You guys don't need to watch the whole thing. But I figure this is a good coupling of firearm content and making stuff with your hands, keeping your hands busy, that kind of stuff. So, I'm gonna move you. This is usually, when I do videos like this, like the chairs, the tables, the stools, stuff like that, I've already made the device, or the whatever we're making, so I have an idea of what we're doing. In this case, you're gonna be coming along with me, which is probably gonna be a little bit longer, but me just stumbling my way through how to make a pouch the correct size, and accessibility to be able to get one of these in and out relatively easily. So let me move the camera and you can watch me stumble. Thanks a lot. Okay, first things first, we have our handy dandy beer box template sheet. Putting all your measurements on, stuff like that. I'm going to take the cylinder out, as you've seen me do 1,000 times. Get this out of the way for now. I'm planning on doing this out of leather. You could do it out of fabric if you have that. I mean, really whatever you have on hand is going to work just fine. When I got to thinking about black powder and cleaning and stuff, I don't know. Leather made sense. It's usually stiffer, more rigid, which means the same thing. So anyways, I am going to grab a pencil here. I'm going to make a quick little tracing, I guess you could say, just so we have, you know, sizes, dimensions that we can quickly and easily visualize. That way we don't have to continuously get the cylinder out. And these are going to be very rough, very rough. And I guess I can just measure it. So that's right at 2 inches. Tall, that is. Wide, it is 1 5/8. What is that? 1 9/16. So typically, when I make stuff like this, especially with leather, depending on what tools you have, so I've got a fair amount of stuff already. I got this little leather punch from good old Harbor Freight. It actually works really well, and it was pretty affordable. I want to say it was $10 to $15. I've accumulated leather. You can buy scrap pouches and stuff like that. You can find leather all over the place. It's still pretty affordable. Even these days, even at Hobby Lobby is a good place. I've actually found good prices on Amazon as well. So, but with leather especially, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to measure, but you're going to leave at least 1/4 inch on either side, if not more. In this case, because we want to be able to get our hands in there to pull this out or to put it back in. You don't want it super tight. I don't anyway. Mileage may vary. But so any measurement that you take, you're going to need to add size 2 for stitching, is how I see it. Plus a little extra, like I said, to make it easier to get in and out. Now leather will, stretch a little bit over time, blah blah blah. But this is more, like I was saying at the beginning, this is more just feeling it out, seeing how it goes. We can make adjustments after this one being the rough draft, but who knows, it might work out. So let me kind of measure up a little bit. That's really boring for you to watch. I'm sure it's been boring so far anyway. But and then I'll bring you back once I have some numbers in mind. Okay, I don't know how much sense this is going to make, but I want you to think of a baseball at first, right? So if you've ever looked at a baseball, there's two kind of hourglass shaped pieces of leather or whatever they're made out of that are, hooked together like this, and then they're stitched together. We're kind of doing that to a degree, except that we're going to leave one side open because we have to get something in and out of it. But we are going to have a flap that goes over. So for the piece that's going to go across the front, call that our width piece, I've got 6 inches and 3/16, 6 and 3/16 inches for the length of that particular piece, and it needs to be 2.5 inches tall. And then right smack dab in the middle, and this is where I'm kind of guesstimating, I want to have another little piece that comes out that's going to have our button snap base on it. For that measurement, I'm guesstimating 2.25 inch because, like I said, I want it to be a little loop. I want it to stick out proud of the material and have an empty place behind it. That will have to go on before we stitch. It doesn't have to, but it'd be a lot easier before we stitch this onto our height piece. So the height piece, I'm calling it, this is going to start on the bottom of the cylinder. It's going to go back the cylinder, then it's going to go up and then over, and I want a little bit of flap, and then I'll take another tab piece coming off of that, wrapping over the top, that will then connect to our button snap on this, and we'll put the other half of the button snap on this. I made everything 1/2 inch bigger, and again, like I said, usually 1/4 inch will do it most of the time, so I'm overdoing it, so this may be too big, we'll see, but that's the numbers that I have right now. So I'm going to cut all these pieces out, and I'll show you, I'll bring you back whenever they're all cut out, if I can find the right somewhat matching leather pieces to make it happen, and then I'll bring you back when I'm done with that. Stick around. Okay, I'm still kind of cutting out pieces and figuring out where everything goes. So this is the little piece that I was talking about that is going to go on the front of the pouch for our snap. And so it's going to sit on the front, and it's going to be kind of bowed out like that, so that you're not, and the reason I'm doing it this way is so that the snap piece doesn't go into where the cylinder sits and scratches it up. It just keeps it from scratching up the cylinder. Now, if you've never used these before, this is a little line snaps with setter. I got this from good old Hobby Lobby, not open on Sundays. But they're pretty simple. So what I did, in this case, this particular piece is what's going to go through the bottom. I found the corresponding hole on my leather punch that's about the same size as that. It's a little small, but I like that. I want it to fit tightly. So what I'm going to do, I found my center of that particular piece, so now I'm going to put that sized hole in that piece. Boom, there you go. Now you take that piece, you slide it through, the receptacle piece goes over that, like that, and then you set it. There's a flat piece that comes with it and a curved piece. In this case, we're going to put it on the flat piece. Sorry, this is hard to do on camera. Ugh. Then they give you this little dingus right here, which is going to punch that down, that little middle piece down, and snug up to the leather. A little bit more. A little bit more. That'll do. So I just wanted to bring you in for that, and then I'll bring you back in whenever we go to stitch this piece in, but that's it for now. Alright, I wanted to bring you in. I'm trying not to go too far into the weeds. I'm assuming that you guys have some sense, or that maybe you've messed with some of this before, but I also want to give people that don't do this regularly a shot to be able to do it themselves as well. So this is our what did I call it? The width piece. Alright, so that's where this button or the buckle is going to go. So I have center part marked, and then I came down 3/8 of an inch because I took this, I brought it up. This is so dumb, but you need to know it. I brought it up kind of like that and measured that, and it was about 3/4 of an inch, or what did I say? 1 3/4. 1 3/4. So I took the height of this minus 3/4. Anyways, so it's 3/8 down from either side. And then I went ahead and punched holes in it, as you can see, nice 3 evenly spaced out holes. Then I took this as a template and I centered it right on that same line. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, just that 3/8 line that I marked. And then I used that same I used these little fine tip Sharpies. They work really well for leather work. And I put 3 dots. So I'm going to then punch corresponding holes on both sides, and then we will stitch this in. You have to do some of this, you have to think ahead when you're doing stuff like this. Like, it'll be the same thing, I forgot to talk about this. For the actual belt strap that's going to go in the back, you have to think ahead and do all of this stuff before you get everything done, because a lot of times your hole punch is only going to reach so far, you know, on piece of leather. So if you need to go past what this is done, now there's other ways to do that. They sell punches that are just, you know, just almost like an awl, just like this. This is a regular awl, but they sell hole punches for leather and stuff like that that are the same thing. So that stuff's available. I'm cheap. I got this at Harbor Freight, so I have to plan ahead. So I'm going to mark this up on both sides, punch those holes, stitch it in, and then I'll probably bring you back and show you how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to try and start the main stitching, if you will. I don't know how this is going to turn out. This may be like a sectional thing instead of all at once. I've made like knife sheaths in the past, and that's a lot easier because you can kind of just, it's two-dimensional, if that makes sense. You're just putting 2 pieces of leather together, which is all we're doing here, but we're doing it in a 3-dimensional way. So we got our little button thing on there, cool. Probably should have done that the other way, doesn't matter. So same thing, we already had the center line marked, and so then I did the same thing for our tall piece. So then I went ahead and just put holes in this. I eyeballed it, that's usually what I do. And then same thing, I laid them down here, marked dots, did corresponding holes. I think what I'm going to do at the very least on the first time through, and this may be something I'll go back and redo with one single string, but we'll just see how this plays out, because I've never done this before. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch these up for now, and then we'll start working the sides together and see how it all starts to come together. So stick around, I'll be back. Got those two together. I'm going to try not to kick this dead horse too many times, but I am making this up as I go. So what I think I'm going to do is just take this piece and kind of line it up just thusly, and then kind of start just making holes down our tall piece, and then corresponding those on this piece, and I'll do one side and then the other, and then kind of see if we're kind of maybe lining up, maybe not, don't know. But yeah, let me play around a little bit and I'll bring you back. But that's where we are. So we're that far. We're quarter of the way there? Sure, quarter. Alrighty, so I've got both bottom sides done, so you can kind of see it's half-assed starting to take shape. So this being the back section, this will come up and fold over the top. Then we'll have that little tab I was telling you about that will go over and connect into our little button here. We will also have our belt loop on the back there, but I'm not going to do that until I get this vertical section started. I've already decided once this is all said and done, I'm probably going to pull out all of this stitching and remake it with just one single thread throughout. There's a 1,000 different ways you can do this. I'm just going in and out, in and out. You can also loop around. I've in some of my knife sheaths, I've doubled to where they're going this way through every hole. I don't really feel like doing that on this. Probably will not, but I am going to go back through and make it one clean string the whole time. Speaking of, I am using, this is paracord, but it's not the big stuff, it's the little stuff. This is again Hobby Lobby, and this is, come on now, I'm just using the number 95 chocolate brown paracord, made in the USA. Nice. I don't know if that price is still relevant, but hopefully. So that's all I'm using. If you don't know what's cool about paracord, what I've been doing along the way is if you take a lighter to the end, it will start to melt, and then I just take the lighter itself, you can see the marks on it, and just kind of smush it in. That will keep that knot from coming undone, and that'll keep everything nice and secure. I've been doing this for a while now. It's very reliable, very that's reliable. That's all we need. So, all right, I'm going to start working up this vertical piece. I'll probably work in the belt loop while we're there, and then I'll bring you back once we get to this vertical section finished, and probably have the belt loop on by then as well. But yeah, anyways. Okay, well, we've got something that's starting to look a little bit like a cylinder pouch. So as you can see, we've got our vertical piece done, we've got our belt strap piece done, and then we just have that top flap that, as you can see, we oversized just a smidge, but we did that on purpose. So now we're gonna kind of cut a custom piece to go from the top of this. We'll put our oh my god, our snap on the other side of the snap on that, and connect it in there, pull it relatively tight. I say that, we're going to keep it pretty loose because chances of something falling out of that are no big deal. And then we will snug her up. I will bring you back, I don't know. Anyway, one thing I didn't tell you was the measurements of that belt loop. So the belt loop came out to be a very simple 1" by 3" piece. What I tried to do is I tried to line it up with kind of the bottom stitching on the bottom and the top stitching on the top. Very simple. Gives a nice healthy loop. I haven't actually tried it on my belt yet, so this may be an epic fail, per usual. But let me get this top strap figured out, or at least proximitied, and I will bring you back. Okay folks, we are down to that last little strap. I ended up going with a 3" by 3/4" piece of leather. Same kind of thing. I tried to kind of sort of center a hole at the end there, as I showed you at the beginning. So there was a concave and a flat piece for this, because this is the piece that's sticking out. You're going to use that concave piece. Then you're going to throw this over the top. I actually got these swapped, so this should have been on the base piece, and the other piece that's on the base piece should have been here, but it is what it is. It will function just the same. So now you're just going to take this same setup and just drive it down for a more sturdy piece. There we go. So all you're doing is just rolling that, you're just rolling that metal over there on the middle stem until it makes good connection with this, and then obviously this will snap in thusly. So all I'm going to do now is kind of get a good spot for where these overlap like that. Make a couple holes, maybe 4 to 6 holes. I can't tell from this. Probably 4. I don't know. Anyways, and we'll go ahead and make those holes, stitch it up, and we will be ready to put something in it. Stick tight. Okay, so we got her done. I think that extra that I added on was a little too much. It is pretty loose in there. Let me get that popped off. As you can see, there's ample space. So actually, as you can see, it's cylinders down. Let's say that you're doing tactical cowboy stuff and you're running around and it's shaking, and it's, I mean, luckily it won't fall out. It doesn't seem like it will. Well, it's not going to move on me now, but I was able to get it to flip before if I was just sitting there shaking it, but it's not doing it anyways. So I mean, it's functional. I'll use it, but I think I'll make another version of this, just removing all that extra that I added and just go back to the initial 1/4 inch that I talked about. Sits on your belt okay. I mean, it's again, it's functional. It's just not ideal. And like I said, I went ahead and replaced all the stitching with just one single piece. I prefer to have this part down here whenever I do this. I messed that up. Actually, that looks messed up, period. Anyways, Mark 1 is functional. We'll go with that. Anyways, I doubt I'll do a full second video. I may bring you back for a quick, short video just saying, hey, look, this is the second version and it works pretty good. But again, this is just an excuse to sit in your garage and hang out, and watch some YouTube and keep your hands busy. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching.